Tiger, let's have a quick chat about where Indonesia's at. Obviously, we're seeing some very monumental changes in Indonesia under Prabowo. We're seeing Joko Widodo trying to maintain power. Megawati Sukarno Putri, who's always been a power player, starting to become less and less relevant. Jokowi clinging on through his son, moves against his son. We've got the growth and development of Danantara. We've got Freeport getting taken over by pro-nationalist movements that are dressed up as taking ownership of mines. Now they want an additional 12% for nothing. Obviously, what signals is this sending to potential foreign direct investors? If we look at the Freeport scenario, Mind ID, it directly holds 41% of shares. All up, it has 51% ownership of the Freeport interest in Indonesia, the Freeport McMoran interests. After the safety incident recently, it's now got another 12% in mind, for which it, of course, doesn't want to pay for. Where do you think we're going under Prabowo's direction? What are his motivations? Is it the good of Indonesia? Is it repaying back family that got him elected by giving him money for different election cycles? Are these sincere moves to improve Indonesia or to help kleptocrats and plutocrats get themselves into a position of power?
Well, it seems to me that Prabowo is consolidating power on top. There's a lot of moves that he's making politically, wherein he has invited a lot of people from the opposition side, coalition partners to have increasing talks, cooperation. But it also seems like he is looking at it in a centralization centralization of power sort of a way. On the other hand, he's also making populist moves to appeal to the larger public in terms of his own programs with the free meal scheme. There's infrastructural developments that he's making. So overall, Prabowo is positioning himself as a pragmatic leader where he has a lot of power concentrated in his hands, but also appeals directly to the masses. But behind closed doors, as we observe different political developments, there's also corruption scandals brewing. Now, Prabowo is trying to kind of skirt the line of, I'm not actually party to these corruption scandals, because he is going after his own cabinet ministers. At times, he is going after opposition. So he's trying to play it safe by skirting the line of neutrality. But largely, we still see corruption brewing in the back doors of the Indonesian government and policy making.
Yeah, and I think, look, if we are naive, born at night, specifically last night at 2 a.m., we see Danantara for what he expresses it as. The reality is he's not giving meals for free for any other reason than to get more votes. Fool the fools, get elected, get power, exercise power for monetary purposes for people that he owes money for, that help him get power, but also so he can express powerful wealth for those closest to him. I mean, even if we just highlight, the removal of Sri Mulyani Rawati, her house getting attacked, but she was a globally recognised economist. If we dig deeper into hers, we find skeletons as well. We find companies that she was part of, groups that seized power and seized assets from various rural concessions. And so she's not as squeaky as clean as her globalist neocon mates that helped elevate her to positions of power make out. But compared to the new finance minister, Bobaya Sandewa, she's an absolute Jesus-like clean figure that was also the mind of a great genius. So as we look at the complex nature of, building smelters in Indonesia, giving massive fines to palm oil plantations, taking mines off your original and largest foreign investor in Freeport McMoran, what is the signal to foreign investors? Who's coming in for the next round to do work now? Dan Bowman was very optimistic about Prabowo was coming in. He was going to go back to old contractor works that were really good models that worked. But now we're seeing some really concerning indicators on whether Indonesia's being governed for the good of 260 or 70 million of people, or is it being governed for a few of the internal oligarchs? And is there a battle going on between the oligarchs to who are the old oligarchs and do they want new ones in? And do the old oligarchs want as many members as they used to have? I mean, they're the questions I want our analytical teams to look at. So just respond to that, please. Are we going down that path?
Perhaps there is some sort of a power struggle between oligarchs, Paul, because we're seeing some of the big names being embroiled in corruption scandals. Some of the yes men of the government seemingly are not being targeted. So there could be some power play in the back door of things. When it comes to the way that the economy is being managed, there are some alarming statistics more recently, uh, especially because of Prabowo's very ambitious schemes with the free meals program that we mentioned earlier. The spending is off the charts, and not to mention the feedback from these programs has been horrific because there have been so many illnesses, thousands of people who've been affected by some of the poorer quality meals in this program. Kids, young adults being affected by this. So the blowback from this scheme has been tremendous over the last couple of weeks. And the involvement of the military in some of these distribution programs, from free meal scheme to the multivitamins program that they've started, that the military is going to be involved in manufacturing of multivitamins and supplements for the population. There's a lot of question about what the real intentions are, because the supply chain, being the disturbed from the earlier system to now, and the top-down approach that we're seeing today, there's a lot of question and uncertainty over the direction the government is taking, if that's really the most efficient way of distribution. And just largely the corruption scandals with Pertamina that we're seeing more recently that blew up. The government has shown some indicators of the economy not being managed very well recently.
Yeah, and so from running our analytical teams, Rugger, what I want you to do now is make sure they're focused on what is occurring and what are the consequences of decisions, because that's what we need to evaluate to look at how the current machinations of current under Prabowo Indonesia is going to impact our clients, current clients and clients we're talking to about potentially investing in Indonesia, or we're advising invest elsewhere. Okay.
Sure, Paul, understood.
Thanks, Ray. Cheerio.